Had to fix the hat right there. What's going on, people? Welcome to the LV Live show. I'm LV Live. Please hit that like, share, subscribe button. Once again, I want to thank all the new subscribers for coming by to my channel, man. It is truly, truly appreciated. So what this is going to be, excuse me, what this is going to be a week wrap-up show, man, to pretty much talk about all the things that happened, which was a lot this week in New York Knicks basketball, man. So we got to kind of go back and check that out and kind of run down that. Also, too, if you're watching us on replay, right, please hit that subscribe button. Also, to leave comments because I do respond to those, right? So let's get right into it, right? The first thing I want to talk about, first thing I want to touch on, because a lot of things that they talked about, from the Mitch, the iHeart stuff to, of course, Randall's interview with Melo and Mero on 7 p.m. in Brooklyn. That's the first thing I want to touch on, right? Because this interview really gave you an inside look into Randall and how he's been maturing as a player and all the things that he has changed with since, that whole thumbs down incident, right? How he's evolved, shall I say. And through this interview, I really gained a newfound respect for him. Like, I really, truly have, just to see his growth since first coming here a couple of years ago. Also, too, I left a link down at the bottom, right, for the show. So please go by and check that out, right? Great show. Big Task. What's going on, man? Appreciate you coming through, rocking with LV Live tonight on this Sunday. Knicks weekly recap. So gained a lot of respect from Randall after this. There's a lot of things I already knew, but him going in depth about a lot of different things. But first off, the first thing they started off in the interview was his shoulder and the status of his shoulder. Randall stated that his shoulder is good. He's rehabbing it. Surgery went great. And right now he's in the progress of pretty much being ready for the season, right? Mero made a joke saying that, on a percentage where you at, he said he can't get no percentage, but, it's looking like he'll pretty much be ready to go start of the season, which is fabulous to hear. And right after that, he really went in depth on the struggles that he was dealing with, after hurting his shoulder. Now, of course, if you guys remember, right, it was all the talks. Is Randall ready to go? Can he play? Is he sitting out? How's the rehab going? Remember, LV talked about it. We didn't hear anything. And on this show, you heard it. I said, listen, if he's not ready to go and he can't go, you got to sit him. Let him get the surgery and be ready to go next year. I would hate for him to be pushed to the limit and the brink if he's not ready to go. If he's not ready to go, because we weren't hearing anything, guys. We just hearing that he was, rehabbing or trying. We didn't know where he was at. It was, he should be back in a couple of weeks. It was a whole bunch of stuff. But based on this interview, Randall was pretty much saying that he was nowhere near to being ready at all. So he said there were times when, he was just afraid to do certain things, right? He said, he didn't even feel like he can get a rebound. He was trying to rehab, but he knew his shoulder was messed up. He knew that, he couldn't fall because he felt like if he would fall, it would pop right back out. He would be injured. But then he was dealing with the whole issue of, not feeling like a teammate and wanting to be there and not being there and kind of not feeling part of the team. And because there was a lot of great things that was going on this year. With the addition of OG ANUNOBY, we looked like a totally different team in January, and it was a lot of positive things to look forward to and what this Knicks team can be. So, of course, he wanted to be part of that ride. Of course, the rise of Jalen Brunson and what he has become, Randall wanted to be part of that. But he couldn't do it because his shoulder was a lot worse than what pretty much was being put out there. So Randall was just saying he was struggling with that. And what really helped him was his teammates. His teammates pretty much let him know he's still part of the team. Just because he's hurt, this doesn't mean that, he's letting the team down. All these different things that Randall said he was struggling with. Melo also touched on the issues that he was having when he hurt his shoulder here with the Knicks and how he decided to go and play through the surgery. Not get the surgery and play through the pain and just was rehabbing. And of course, as you guys know, Randall elected to get surgery. And remember, guys, during that playoff game, was it the playoff game? It was either the playoff game against Philly or maybe right at the end of the season. I forget when the interview was, but remember the interview that the guy stated that he spoke to Randall. Randall said he knew it was time to shut it down because he hurt himself while he was trying to rehab. Remember that? And I was saying that, and he said that happened weeks ago. So Randall knew for a while, based on this pocket, that his shoulder just wasn't ready. And so those are the things he was battling with. So the shoulder was a lot worse than what pretty much, was reported. But to me, the biggest part, and all this stuff has happened at the beginning of the interview, guys. So once again, like I said, I left the link below so you guys go down and check that out. So another big thing that Randall touched on, which I thought was the biggest part of this interview, is when he talked about the thumbs down incident. Now, guys, remember, this season will be pretty much, I want to say 3 years removed from that, right? Coming into this season. But right now, technically, it's, 2 years removed from the thumbs down. And Randall talked about how he said he laughs at it now. He said because he looks back and he just remembers all the type of things that he was going through emotionally, right? Remember, guys, he's just coming off of the All-Star. It was supposed to be a really good season, and he wasn't playing well. The team wasn't playing well, so the expectations were so high for them. He just didn't play well that year at all. And I remember doing a video way back. You guys go check it out if you want to. And I said, heavy is the head that wears the crown. And I did not think Randall was ready, right? I really didn't think so. I thought he was a really good player, but I saw limitations in his game, and I didn't think he was ready back then. I just didn't. And I made a video on it. And Randall spoke about it in this interview and stated that this was nothing that, this is New York's a different place, basically. And we all know that, right? It's us New Yorkers, right? And he had never dealt with, people screaming at him and telling him he stinks, he sucks, and just how aggressive New York fans can be, and we know we can be, when you're not playing well and you're not doing well. And he had never dealt with anything like that before. And he said that, and at the time, he knew he was playing like crap. He knew it. Like, it wasn't like he just didn't know. He felt like he was playing, no, he said at the time he was trying to keep a positive head, be optimistic, but the pressure of playing here is like no other. That's just what it is. And that's when that happened. And he said he learned so much from that. He grew so much because he realized, that's not the best way to go about something like that. And you have to be able to know how to deal with the ups and downs that come with playing in this city. And he said it really helped him learn so much about himself, right? It really helped him grow a lot as a player. And you're seeing it now. I think a big part of that growth is not just Randall himself, but I think the other half is Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson coming here and taking a lot of the weight off of Randall's shoulders and being able to weather those other obstacles and the weight of carrying a team, and it can balance it out with Randall, has really, really helped Randall. It really, truly has. And I think that that's what has really changed things for him, was the arrival of Jalen Brunson. Because I told you guys, we've spoken about it. At the end of that season, everybody was talking about trading Randall. Everybody was talking about letting Obi play the 4 and letting RJ give the keys to RJ. I never forget it. I did a show on that. That's what we were talking about. We wanted Randall out of here. We wanted him gone. And then that's somebody made the deal to get Brunson. Right? So we're not that far removed, right, from that. And that was coming off of that thumbs down season, right? So he talked about that, his growth. And I think a big part of that is Jalen Brunson. Another big part of it, which I thought, and Melo made a fabulous point. Melo mentioned to him that, he said, I know you're from Texas, right? And, of course, Randall said, yeah, he's from Dallas. So New York is different, right? So if you're not used to that type of mentality or that type of person, in your face type of person that's going to tell you how it is, that's an adjustment. It really truly is. Culturally, it's an adjustment. And I've talked about this on my show before, guys. I've touched on this, about how the Knicks, the way their DNA is right now, culturally, if you pay attention, it's all guys who are from the Northeast, right? Who are kind of aggressive, in your face. Josh Hart, DC guy, Jalen Brunson, New Jersey, New York, Chicago, DiVincenzo, Delaware, right next to Philly, right? So these guys are a little, they cut a little differently. They just are. Remember, the coach is from Chicago, so you got a different type of guy in that locker room. And the one that's spearheading it is Brunson. So he's bringing that DNA and that way of doing things. So hence, when Brunson is struggling, he's going up and down during the season, you don't see a difference with Brunson. He's even keel. Whether he done drop 40 or he done drop 21, he's the same guy. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if the Knicks lose or they win. Brunson's giving the same answer. Same thing. It's kind of very similar to Derek Jeter, right? Derek Jeter always said, they said, how you do so well in the World Series? He said, listen, man, I treat these games like it's the first game of the season. That's it. And when you have a guy like that that understands the city and knows how to deal with it like that, that's the perfect leader to have. And I think Brunson being like that has rubbed off on everybody else, including Randall. And that's getting back to what Melo said. Melo said, you're from Dallas, man. Like, New York is different. Like, you had an adjustment period. You had to adjust to what the expectations were in this city and how to deal with people. And if you're from Dallas, this ain't the same, man. It's just not. And like I said earlier, heavy is the head that wears the crown. This is a different place, man. This is a different place. It is. And I think Randall found that out quick. But at the same time, it helped him grow. And with the addition of Brunson and a lot of those other DNA pieces, like, of course, the Nova Trio, even a guy like Deuce, right? Same type of DNA, right? Guys from Cincinnati. But he played football, right? So you still have that, rough on the edges type of guy. He was also coached by Bob Huggins, very similar to Tibbs. Hard-nosed guy. Bob Huggins over in West Virginia, came from Cincinnati. That was his college coach. Same type of guy, right? So you got to understand that stuff matters when you come into a locker room. That stuff matters when you're dealing with challenges through the season. Because you got to have certain guys in that locker room that know how to deal with, the city that you're playing in. And to me, that's why Brunson is no better leader for this team. For this team. Maybe other teams, but for this team and in this city than Jalen Brunson. Because he pretty much sets up, or shall I say, not even set up. Let me say it differently. He gives the blueprint of how you should handle things and how you should deal with the media and how you should handle winning and losing, how you handle the pressure playing in this city. He gives the blueprint. And everybody else follows suit. And to me, that's what he does. And that's what has helped out Randall. But yeah, once again, listen, go check that out, man. It's a great way to kind of see how Randall has grown. How he has in many ways, man. So they also talked about a lot of different things. They talked about Cal and playing Calipari, playing in college, NIL. Talked about, growing up in Dallas. There's a lot of great things they talked about with Randall. But you see the evolution of a guy that's starting to understand who he is. He spoke about the importance of winning here and how that's why he felt like he wanted to come back. Because he said at this point in his career, he's going on year 10, it's all about winning now. It's all about winning, period. It's all about your legacy. And he understands that. He talked about Kobe, too. So it's a lot of great topics that he touched on, he talked about during that interview. It's really, really good. You guys definitely got to check it out. So the other piece that came out this week was Jake Fisher from Yahoo Sports discussed and mentioned how the Knicks are shopping or, talking to people regarding a Mitchell Robinson trade. Now, this is all coming. It's just a domino effect of things, right? Also, too, Ian Begley has also stated that he's also heard similar things, that the Knicks are in talks with different teams in regards to what a trade looks like for Mitchell Robinson. Once again, right, this is a domino effect because this is pretty much coming on the heels of Oklahoma City trading Josh Giddey for Alex Caruso, right? Caruso, who I wish the Knicks would have made a deal for, but he's in OKC now. So now what that does is that changes things in regards to the whole iHeart thing for them. Because now they're going to have to pretty much pay Alex Caruso. So I don't see them paying big money. Now, what's going on, man? Appreciate you coming through Rock with LV Live on this Sunday. Hope everyone's enjoying their weekend. Enjoyed their weekend and enjoying their Sunday night. I don't think that leaves enough money for iHeart now, right? So that changes things. So once again, this league, every move has an outcome. Every move has a domino effect. And that Caruso move change things. So let's thank Chicago, right? For making that deal, sending Josh Giddey over to Chicago, Caruso to OKC. So it looks like OKC is going to probably go for a cheaper backup to Chet because they know they're going to have to come with the bag to pay Ihart. So that looks like the Knicks, he's going to wind up staying with New York, and the Knicks are going to wind up giving him the $72.5 million. I believe it's over 4 years. So does that mean they're going to wind up paying Mitchell Robinson the whole $60 million or whatever he's owed, $30 million of that contract? That's where that changes things now, because I don't see them keeping two bigs who are making that whole amount of money. There's also been reports now recently today that the Knicks were also in talks with the Wizards regarding Mitchell Robinson. So this is something I see as pretty much it's inevitable, man. You know, with the draft coming around next week, of course, Thursday, I think it's just a matter of time before the Knicks make a move in regards to, you know, Mitch. I think it's looking like, you know, Ihart's going to wind up staying. I think the Knicks are going to wind up giving him the bag. And I think they're going to move off of Mitchell Robinson. Whatever move they look to make, I hope that they wind up getting like a wing in that deal. You know, kind of find out who the suitors are going to be. But that's what it's looking like. You know, I don't see. I just don't see the Knicks keeping both of those guys at all. And with the talks being out there a couple of days ago, Jake Fisher for Yahoo Sports and Ian Begley hearing that the Knicks are in conversations about that, and then now the news that comes out today in regards to the Wizards and the Knicks having conversations in regards to Mitchell Robinson, I think it's just a matter of time. And, you know, it stinks because, you know, we love Mitch, right? He's homegrown, right? We've kind of built him up from the bottom up. We got him straight out of high school. So you want to see a guy who's been a lifelong Knick, right, to stay with the Knicks. But this is business, man. And I think that you have to make the best move possible for your team in order for you guys to continue to grow. Because I think the Knicks are right there. We're contenders right now, right? We definitely are. So now every move that they make has to be strategic and focused on winning, and winning now. Not winning 2 years from now, not building. No, winning now. You were number 2 seed in the East, and the only thing that hurt you guys really this year was injuries. So now you have everybody coming back healthy. Now I think it's time to make that push, right? All gas, no brakes. And I think, you know, a lot of people will see the Knicks as a contender up there with Philly and Milwaukee to challenge Boston. And then for us as Knicks fans, this is all we wanted, right? This is very similar to how it was in the 90s. The Knicks were always in contention. They were always battling the Pacers and the Bulls. That's who they were always battling in those 90s. Those were the teams. And the Heat, of course, excuse me. But the Knicks were right there in the mix. Losing in the semifinals, losing in the Eastern Conference Finals. They were always right there. And a couple of times they made it to the finals. So that's where we want this team to be. And hopefully get them over the hump to winning the NBA championship. But we're right there. So to me, whatever moves the Knicks make, that's what it's got to be predicated on. Period. End of story. It should not be like, you know, just trying to get some pieces, just to, you know, no. We got to kind of fill up that bench. And if we can get another wing, that'll be beautiful. Now, of course, a lot of people are still talking about the whole Paul George thing. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's not looking like he's going to wind up going back to the Clippers. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think it's like 50-50 as I sip my tea. That's good stuff. I think it's like a 50-50 thing. CP, what's going on, man? Hope all is well. Everybody goes to subscribe to CP. Hey, CP, man, the Yanks are struggling, man. Yanks are struggling. The best way to get back on track is to knock you boys off. We will see you Monday, sir. We will see you Monday, CP. That's a bad place to be for you Mets fans. Yankee team that's lost the last 3 series and need a way to get back in the winning column. Perfect timing for us. Bad timing for you guys. CP, appreciate you coming through rocking with LV Live, man. Everybody, please go subscribe to CP Mets and Knicks. Great show over there. He's doing big things over there. Please go by and subscribe to my boy, man. He's doing great things over there. So the whole Paul George thing, right? So I don't know what the Clippers are going to do. I mean, it's kind of like it's a weird place because I think he wants to stay because he is an LA guy, but they're not. They don't seem like they're really making a push. And here's the thing: they know guys want him. They know Philly wants him. He'd be a beautiful piece for Embiid and those boys, right? And he would be a great piece for the Knicks. You know, now, Jeremy knows, man, I appreciate you coming through, rocking with LV Live. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. But I appreciate you, Jeremy, coming through and rocking with me and my crew, man. So the whole Paul George thing, I just, so I don't know, man. I'm kind of like 50-50 because he's an aging star. He's kind of very similar to Jimmy Butler to me. All those guys are old, so I don't really want. It's like old Knicks stuff, man. I don't want to be, I want somebody that's young and hungry and ready to go. I don't really want none of these old stars, man. It's going to want $40 or $50 million a year, because that's where they're at in their career. They're trying to get their last payday, and they're looking for the Knicks to do so. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of but Paul George is tough, man, and he would make us a really, really good team. He would, but the thing with Paul George, right? My only issue is that I feel like if we get him, we're gonna have to give up a lot, and it's gonna kind of be like short lived. It's the same thing with Clay, right? Same thing. Like to me, they're like the same guy. Paul George may be a little bit better, of course, less injuries. He had the broken leg, but Clay's coming off the Achilles and the ACL. He doesn't look like the same guy. He just doesn't. That's why they put him on the bench with Golden State, right? So do you want to bring that big contract? Both of those guys are going to demand, because of what they've done in this league, to bring him over to the Knicks. Are you guys really going to want to do that? As good as those guys are, and listen, here's the thing. They can produce, and they can be a great piece to what it is that we want to do. Both of those guys can defend. They both can shoot it. Paul George is still tough, and he's still Paul George, right? He's the perfect wing. 6'8", 6'9", can defend, can shoot it, right? So it's hard to say no to that, but at the same time, he's an aging star, man. Coach, what's going on, man? Appreciate you coming to rocking with LV Live tonight. Hope everybody enjoyed their weekend, man. It was hot this weekend in the city, man. The city was blazing. I got in the pool a couple times this weekend, man. I had to, man. It's too hot. Too hot in the city, man. Now it's like raining, you know what I'm saying? So, hopefully it cool things down, man. But it was a heat wave this weekend in New York City. So that's my thing with the whole Paul George and Klay Thompson. You know what I mean? And here's the thing, like, I think those guys will be really good on other teams too, right? I think Klay will be great on Orlando. I think they need a guy like that. Like, they need a guy that can score at the top of the key. They don't have anybody. He's got a whole bunch of bigs and wings, right? So I think he'll be great there. And I think Paul George will be great in Philly, right? Because, Embiid's getting up there in age. You still got Maxey, so they need a guy like that. Like, they need the Knicks. We just don't need it because those are big contracts, man. Big contracts. Jeremy says OG ANUNOBY is primed to receive 5 years, $200 million. The Knicks have a complicated financial situation to remain right. The second luxury tax apron, right? 189, right? Exactly, man. But that's why, Jeremy, that's why they're gonna have to move off of Bogey, and they're gonna have to move off of Mitch. They're gonna have to do that, and bring in someone else who's gonna be making less money. And of course, like maybe like a Tyus Jones or a wing that is cheaper, but are still solid players. And then that's why Lee and those guys get paid the big bucks. But you're gonna have to move off of those guys that kind of keep us out of the second apron, right? I think if I'm correct, I think we will still be in the first apron because the first apron is. I think it's 171 million, right? And I think the second apron is 189. Am I correct, guys? The first apron, I believe, is 171. And I think the second apron is 189. And so I think that's what, right? Coach says Brunson, Paul George, OG ANUNOBY, Randall, iHeart. Yeah, that's a great lineup, man. That is a great lineup, Coach. Well, Paul George gonna want big money, man. That's the only thing, man. You want listen. All right, boom, coach. You're gonna want to pay Paul George about 40 something million because that's what he's gonna want. That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing he wants like 40 something. And remember, I think if I'm correct, I think he hits the vet max, the veteran max. I think he hits that. So he's trying to get like 40, and this is probably gonna be his last big contract. So I think he's gonna want to try to bang the bank, man. Now I don't think the Knicks should pay it, but I can see someone like Philly paying it because they're desperate, man. They're desperate to try to get Embiid a ring. Coach says keep all 3 picks this year. All right, coach. So if we keep all 3 picks, who we picking up? Who we getting, coach? Jeremy says Walt Kessler, right. I know Kessler's pretty good. 2 years, $7.98 million would be a quality replacement for Mitchell Robinson. Agreed. You know who I want more, Jeremy? And I've heard it, and I've said it numerous times on this show. I want Andre Drummond. Drummond's great defensively, and he rebounds like a beast. I want Drummond. Now, of course, we're going to be missing the shot blocking, but he's a perfect piece for the second unit. Rebounding, and he's also got a little attitude in the middle, too. He's got, he's a New York guy, Mount Vernon. He's a bully in there, too. Knocking dudes around a little bit will make it a little tougher for those guys. So to me, I really want Drummond. That's who I really want them to try to get. But they gotta move quick. I'm telling you, someone's gonna snatch Drummond up. Coach says if we get PG-13, is it for a chip? We can let him walk. Yo, man, coach, man, I love the lineup, man. I do. I can't sit here. LV can't sit here and act like I don't. I'm not gonna sit here and say it's terrible. No, I love the lineup. I love Paul George at that too. But do we want an aging star like that, man? How old is Paul George going to be, man? What's he going to be, 35 this year? Because I know Jimmy Butler's going to be like 35. Let me see, man. Let me see really quick, man. I don't want no old stars, man. The Knicks are trying to, we're trying to get our guys like in their 20s and 30s. Paul George is 34. He just turned 34 this year. So I'm just saying. But he's going to want big money, man. He's going to want a big money. He's going to want a lot of paper, man. So it's Clay. Those guys feel like, and as they should, because this is pretty much their last payday, they feel like because they're stars, their resume, and you got to respect it, their resume says, I deserve this amount of money, period. Of course, Clay, with all his championships, if I'm Clay, I'm coming to the table saying, yo, man, I want like 35. Because this is what I'm bringing to the team. Clay came off the bench, but he averaged like 17. I think he shot just below 40% from 3. That's better than most teams, man. So he still can do a lot. PG played great last year, man. So, but they're old, man. How much longer are they going to be with the Knicks? 2 seasons, 3 seasons? Them guys are going to probably retire, man. Big Taskers, let Philly pay him that, right? Yeah, I'm saying, man. Coach says done, bud, and whatever. Center drops if we can't move up for Ware. You want Ware bad, man. I'm hearing bad things about Ware, man. I'm hearing he has a low motor. I don't know. I'm going to read up a little bit more about him. Read up a little bit more about the kid. But that's why he transferred. He transferred over to Indiana, man, because of the same issues. The one who tightened him up was Woodson. So, I don't know. Dunn, to me, is a perfect... Dunn comes in, he's ready to go. You can't coach defense and effort and all that good stuff. You can't do that. That's why I love Dunn. He comes in ready to go. Ready to go. The shooting we can work on. But he's a Tibbs guy, and he's big. He's about 6'8". So that is a beautiful wing to back up OG ANUNOBY. I spoke about it on my last show. Jeremy says, Tyler Collick, 24th. The pick, right? Deron Holmes, 25th, right? Then pick Kevin McCullough at 38th. Pick total salary 7.6. Okay. I've read up on a couple of those guys. A couple of those guys are decent players, man. All right. But once again, this is not a flashy draft. You know what I'm saying? So you got to make sure whoever you bring in fits what it is that you're trying to do. We have a certain DNA here. So you got to make sure that whoever you pick is a Tibbs guy. We saw what happened to Kim Reddish. He's got to be a Tibbs guy. If he's not a Tibbs guy, it's going to be problems. It just is. So we got to make sure we do that. But also, too, the draft is coming up Thursday. Do the Knicks move those picks for somebody? Do the Knicks put the picks in a package with Bogey? Because I think Bogey's gone. The Knicks going to pick up his option. I think he's going. I think he's going with Mitch. I think they leave at the same time with picks for somebody. I think that's what the Knicks are going to do. Coach says he has to opt in to get traded. Who's that? Who's that, Coach? Who are you talking about? You talking about Paul George? Okay. But I think, but Coach, he's a free agent now, Coach. I think he can just leave. If I'm correct, he's waiting for him to give him a contract, but he could, right? Coach said, if that's the case, we just pick him for a rental for cheap. Yo, Coach, man, Coach, we ain't got time to waste, man. Do you know what I'm saying? So we don't want guys coming up in here that don't like Tibbs. You know what I mean? Is he going to be able to conform to what Tibbs is? That's the thing with PG. You know what I mean? Paul George, he's got the ego of a star that hasn't won anything. You know what I mean? He's got the stats, but also he's walking in like, yeah, I'm Paul George. He hasn't won nothing. Clay can come in and be like, yo, I'm one half of the Splash Brothers. I got 3 rings. What does Paul George have? Right? He's hopped around a lot. Hell of a talent, but he's hopped around a lot. So I'm just saying, but yo, man, someone's going to give him the bag because they need a 2-guard. They need somebody at that 2. The Knicks aren't in dire need of that. They're not. Now, we would like it, yeah, but we're not in a position like Philly is in. Philly needs to win now. Embiid, you don't know what you're. Embiid might be on his last leg, man. You never know what Embiid's going to be a year or 2 from now with his injuries. So they need to win now. So I can see them jumping out the window and telling Paul George, we'll give you anything. So I can see Philly doing that because they're in dire need of that. Coach says Clay is washed. I don't know if Clay is washed, man. Clay's not what he was. But can he contribute to a team that's on the rise? Yes, he can. I think a great landing spot for him would be Orlando. They need a shooting guard. They need a guy that can create his own shot and who could knock it down. They have no 3-point shooting. They were terrible. They got a whole bunch of guys that could do the same thing. They got a whole bunch of bigs, a whole bunch of 6'11" dudes, and a whole bunch of guys that just they're average at the top of the key. So they need a sniper out there, and I think Clay fits perfectly. And I wouldn't be surprised. They probably pay him a bunch of money too. Jeremy said OKC made a major chess move, obtaining Caruso expiring contract 9.9, trading Josh Giddey to Chicago. All right, with buyout Lonzo Moore expiring. Yeah, agree. You know, Jeremy, you're absolutely right. They pulled off a steal because I really wanted Caruso with the Knicks, man. I thought he was perfect for the Knicks. Perfect. I spoke about it on my last show. I wanted him and Drummond. That's who I wanted. And that was a great move. But Jeremy, that's why iHeart's not going to go because they're going to have to pay Caruso now. Trust me, that move, Jeremy, that move is not just to do it just because he's just 1 year. No. They're looking for him to be a long-term deal. So they're going to probably wind up whatever money they were going to give iHeart, they're going to give Caruso. I'm hearing somewhere like in between, like when it's time for him to re-up, probably like 4 years, 78, something like that, Jeremy. Oh, Tim, what's going on, man? Fight on, man, from the East Coast. What's going on, Tim? Appreciate you coming through, rocking with LV Live tonight. Tim, I did call in, sir. I did call in, but you guys had the lines on smash. You had like 20 people on hold. I was holding for 20 minutes. I said, Tim is busy, man. If anybody likes college football like I do, USC Trojan here, go subscribe to my boy Tim Prangley over there. They do big stuff, college football. Please go check it out. If you are a USC Trojan like myself, fight on all day. I'm glad Reggie Bush got his trophy back. Please, guys, go over there, subscribe. They do great work over there. Fabulous work. Tim and Matt and the whole crew. Please go over there and check those guys out. Big Tat said, I agree with Coach Clay is washed. I don't think Clay Thompson is washed, man. Listen, you guys got to think bigger, right? He's not going to be Clay like what he used to be, but can he still contribute to a team that needs a guard to score? He can. I'm not looking for Clay to score anywhere between 25 to 30. But if he can get anywhere between 17 to 21 for a team like Orlando at the top of the key, because you know they could defend, you know they're long and athletic, they're just missing a guard. And believe it or not, that might give him room to play even better. They got a slower pace. Maybe he can't keep up with that running gun pace, the Steve Kerr system that they have up there, and go to state because of his ailments with his Achilles and his ACL. He's probably needs a slower pace, and I think Orlando fits that. I would not be surprised if Clay has a bounce-back season playing with a team like Orlando. It becomes an all-star in the East. I just wouldn't be surprised. He still has a lot left in the tank, but not at that scheme that they run up there in Golden State. I just think he's a different player now. Just Thinks, what's going on, man? Appreciate you coming through, rocking with LV Live this Sunday. Tim's got to put you on the VAP line. Yeah, man. Tim, you guys, it was busy over there, man, that Friday night. Shout Powers, man. Appreciate you coming through, rocking with LV Live. If it's your first time coming through to the channel, please subscribe. I appreciate you coming through, rocking with me and my crew, man. Jeremy says Sam Presti would trade Clint Capella's expiring contract to $23.7 million, right? Sam Presti isn't looking to take on a long-term contract. Now that Alex Caruso is in the fold, OKC will prioritize size. Ooh. Yeah, you know what, Jeremy? I'm glad you mentioned that. Also, two people, if you're here, rock on, please hit that like button for your boy. Also, too, I think that I'm hearing that Atlanta wants to blow up everything. That's what I'm hearing. Of course, you've been hearing them rumors for the longest with Trey going to Lakers, right? DeAndre Hunter, of course, being linked to the Knicks. I'm not DeAndre Hunter. I can't even think of his name now. You see that? But I'm thinking of DeAndre Hunter coming to the Knicks. I think he'll be a great fit. Who's the guard up there? I'm sorry. Who's the guard next to Trey? Please help me. LV Live just had a brain, you know what. But I do like DeAndre Hunter. But I'm here. They're trying to blow it up in Atlanta. Tim, what's going on, man? Appreciate you coming through, rocking with LV Live this Sunday night. Deontay Murray. Jeremy, thank you for coming through. So, DeJounte Murray's been linked to the Knicks, a couple of other places, and of course, but I like DeAndre Hunter. If they're going to blow it up, Jeremy, if they're going to ship out Clint Capella, they're going to do that because, these guys are pretty much trying to blow things up. Landry Fields over there in Atlanta. I don't want DeJounte Murray, man. He's going to be really expensive. I don't know if he works with Brunson. I just don't. DeAndre Hunter, on the other hand, yes. I think he works perfectly with Brunson. I think the Knicks should look to get a backup point guard. And then, we take it from there. Shot Money says, our 8 would be Brunson, Devo, OG, Randall, iHeart, Deuce, Josh Hart and Mitch. Shy Powers, man, I appreciate you coming through. But listen, man, earlier we talked. I don't think Mitch stays, man. I think Mitch is gone. There have been reports all week, and then there was one report today that the Wizards and the Knicks are talking about a Mitch deal. The Knicks have been in contact with numerous teams this week. Per Jake Fisher, I also put the link below. Yahoo Sports and Ian Begley stated that he heard the same thing. Knicks in talks with Mitch, man. Listen, it's looking like iHeart's going to wind up staying, right? So I see the Knicks making a move with Mitch. But I think it's going to be a package. I think it's going to be Bogey and Mitch with some picks. And I think they're going to go after somebody. Who that somebody is, I'm not sure. And a good backup that I would love for Mitch would be Andre Drummond. And I think the Knicks also have to do that deal also too, remember, guys, because we got to get out of that second apron. Because keeping those guys and all that's going to put us over the cliff, man. We want to be out of that second apron. Jeremy says Milwaukee is actively shopping Chris Middleton and Brook Lopez. You hear that? Well, there's been reports, Jeremy, that Doc is looking to kind of change things up there, man. Because remember, they just dropped Doc down in the middle of like in the middle of a war zone and said, "Yo, clean this up." And so he saw some things there that he didn't like. Chris Middleton's an aging star. Brook Lopez is an aging star. Not even a star, but he's an aging, solid, big in this league. So I would not be surprised if they pretty much break that up. They have to, because they got to get younger. They got to get younger. They got to get more athletic. Period. Shy Money says, Bodega gets signed, then I'll believe it. Yeah. Coach says, if I'm a big Mitch fan, but if the deal is right, it is what it is. Agreed. Big Taz says, wait, is Drummond under contract? If so, how do we get him? No, I think Drummond's a free agent. If I'm correct, I believe Drummond's a free agent, man. Drummond is a free agent. But, the Knicks aren't talking about him because they're still in the background, trying to make some moves in regards to Mitch and lock in iHeart. So all these things, once again, it's all a domino effect. So certain things have to take place in order for other things to be moved. I'm sure you guys know that. But the biggest move that just was made was the Caruso move, right? So I think that's still being worked out. Tim says, Mitch gotta go. We can get another backup that can rebound, score, and hit some free throws. Drummond or somebody like Gafford from the Mavs, right? Coach says, if we let iHeart walk, I like that guy from Orlando for the low. No way. Coach, if you do that, then who starts? Who starts? There's no way iHeart's going anywhere. Andre Drummond is an unrestricted free agent. Kevin Looney would be a solid option. I like Looney, man. I do. I think he's solid enough. The only thing with Looney, he doesn't rebound at the clip that Mitch does and Drummond does. That's my only thing with Looney. He's like a hustle big. He plays really well. He has a high motor. Drummond gobbles up rebounds, man. Just like Mitch. Those guys are beasts on the glass. And for the way the Knicks like to play, to me, that's what you got to look for. Shy Power said, if we move Mitch where? And if most def have to be with Bogey and maybe Deuce. Deuce isn't going anywhere, sir. I doubt if Deuce goes. All right, let me say this. If Deuce moves, it's going to have to be a big deal. It's going to, because Tibbs loves Deuce. Remember, Tibbs didn't want to leave off of Grimes to make the Spider deal happen. That's how much Tibbs loves certain guys. Because remember, that was the talks. Spider was on his way here. His bags was packed. He was on his way to New York. Tibbs, I heard in the background, shot down the deal because of Grimes. They did not want to give up Grimes because he loves Grimes. So I see Deuce in the same way. Tibbs loves Deuce, man. He loves Deuce. It's got to be something spectacular for to put Deuce in that deal because he's a Tibbs guy. Tibbs loves the guy. So that's what I'm saying. Once again, right, we got to look at the coach and who his guys are. So in order for Deuce to be included on the deal, it's got to be somebody like, it's got to be a monster. It's got to be someone like Giannis or KD or Devin Booker. It's got to be something like that. Because I think Deuce is intertwined into the, I said it before on my show, into the Tibbs culture. I think he's locked in, man. He's not, that's Tibbs' guy. And I don't think he's going anywhere. Tibbs has developed that kid, man. He's developed that kid. So I don't think Tibbs is not going to want to see him go. Tibbs is like that, man. Joe Curry, man, what's going on, man? Appreciate you coming through, rocking with LV Live and my crew. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. I appreciate you coming through, rocking with me and my crew, Joe Curry, on this Sunday night. Joe Curry said, both are too old. Looney is a better fit. You know what it is? I'm going to tell you what it is, Joe, about Looney. Looney doesn't rebound, man. He's decent, but you need someone that's going to gobble up rebounds, man, because that's what we've kind of built our identity on. So whoever that backup is, you want him to know that he's going to crash the boards, very similar to Mitch. And to me, that's what Drummond provides. That's why I leaned into the Drummond. Joe Curry said, yeah, gave up Grimes for Bogey. Make him say, you know what it is, Joe? Grimes fell out of favor, man. Tibbs is fickle, man. You guys know that. He's a funny guy. And the reports were, Joe, was last year Tibbs had an issue with Grimes. Grimes fell out of favor with Tibbs in the playoffs. You remember when Grimes got hurt with the shoulder against Cleveland and he didn't play like a game or two? I heard Tibbs didn't like that. Tibbs didn't like that at all because Tibbs felt he could have played. And he didn't play. Like, whatever was, Tibbs didn't like that. Once you turn off Tibbs a certain type of way, that's how he is, man. He's old school. So remember, the reports when DiVincenzo came in, we all was talking about it, especially here on the LV Live show. I said, Grimes is in trouble. All my day ones know when I said last year, I saw the flamethrower, I said, Grimes is in trouble. And what happened? Grimes got up out of here. He got Grimes up out of here ASAP. The flamethrower came in and took the starting spot, had it in a stranglehold. Grimes folded up like tissue paper. He couldn't hack it, man. He couldn't hack it. He was complaining. He's not getting shots. You remember all the stuff Grimes was doing? He fell out of favor with Tibbs, man. So, Joe, that's why they shipped him off the way they did. Joe Curry said, we're a team rebound. We don't really need a center. No, yes, we do. Yes, we do. That's big. That was Mitch's claim to fame, Joe. Before he got hurt, blocking shots and rebounds. Remember, there was talks about Mitch being possibly defensive player of the year. So that's huge for the Knicks. Our heart rebounds at a high clip. So our bigs are Mitch was big on the glass. So that's the thing what makes us great. Josh Hart, yeah, of course, Josh Hart, that's what's big for him. But prior to that, Josh Hart, Mitch, all those guys, Randall's a double-double guy. So all those guys hitting the glass is what changes things for the Knicks. Mitch at the time was leading the league in offensive rebounds. So that's something Drummond does at a high clip also. Jeremy says, Bogey, Mitch, Miles, 2 first rounds with Desmond Bane. No way. No way am I doing that. Desmond Bane not that good of a player. He's good, man. But not to give up Deuce in 2 first rounds. No way. No way. Tim says there was rumors about Randall for Durant. What do you think about that trade, LV? That's a tough one, Tim. And here's why that's a tough one. I want Durant here. I think he'll make us, we'll be different with Durant. But is he going to conform to the DNA of this team? Right? Is he going to conform to what it is we do, the DNA of this team? I don't think so, man. I don't think so. I think he folds up too like tissue paper, man. He's gonna have issues with Tibbs. They're gonna butt heads. Nah, that's not. I can't. Nah, I can't see that. Randall's a better fit for us than Durant. And I love Durant. I love his skill set, but I just don't know DNA wise, is he gonna fit, man? Joe Curry says yes, but Drummond doesn't protect the paint. That's what we need a center for. Yeah, no, agreed. Agreed. He doesn't, but he's a big enough body. He remember, he's just the backup. We're not looking for him to be right. So the added plus of iHeart was that he blocked shots. But I'm just saying, you got to give to get, man. You know what I'm saying? So you got to give to get, man. So you're gonna lose some things with Mitch, right? But the problem with the problem with Mitch, man, biggest thing of it is his injury prone. That's you got the best quality is availability, period. And Mitch has been injured, man, and that's what's hurting him right now, period. Joe Gutierrez said, Joe Gutierrez, sorry. What's going on, man? Appreciate you coming through Rock with LV Live tonight. He says, I'm good on that, right? I'm not trading Randall for Durant. Yeah, man. You know, and the order this, Tim, it's not that because I like Durant, man. I do, Tim, but you know, it's just with Tibbs. Tibbs don't play, man. You got to be able to conform. And here's the thing: when the Knicks have gotten it right with DNA guys, look, OG ANUNOBY fits well with us. iHeart fits well with us. Deuce fits well with us. When IQ was here, he fit well with us. Those are Tibbs guys. They defend, they play hard. You got to bring somebody in. You cannot have somebody come in and mess up the apple cart. And Kevin Durant will do that. He will. They'll be arguing back there. There'll be punches thrown, all types of stuff, man. Jeremy says the Knicks can't obtain a max salary player if OG and iHeart are retained. I don't agree, sir. Agreed. Because it's going to put them over. I agree with that. Exceeding the second tax apron comes right with Maxim. Absolutely. That's what we want to avoid. We want to avoid the second apron. Joe says, honestly, I never liked Drummond's game, right? I like Drummond, man. Drummond's solid, man. Also, too, you know what it is, Joe? I'll be honest with you. We're not asking Drummond to come in and be a starter and be the max guy that he was before. We just need him to come in and just be able to be a solid piece for that second unit. That's it. That's all we need Drummond to do. He does that, we're good. Joe Gutierrez says we need Bridges. Yo, listen, man. Getting Bridges over here would be fabulous. LV has talked about that since the beginning, man. But that's not going to happen. Then listen, Brooklyn's not going to make that deal. They're just not. You know, and they're going to be selfish with it too, right? Because they know they're not going to be good this year. They could do the deal. They could do it, but they don't want to because they know we make that move. We're different. We're very different. Joe Curry says OG for Bridges. No, not doing that. You got to keep OG here with Bridges, Joe. You got to keep them together at the top of the key on the wing. Imagine them: Bridges 6'7", OG 6'8", Randall 6'10". Then you got Brunson being an assassin at the top of the key. Danger zone. Pulse DU, man. What's going on, man? Appreciate you coming through. Rocking with the LV Live and my crew. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe, man. I appreciate you coming through rocking with me tonight. He said, I never heard of Durant disrupting locker rooms. You know, Paul, so here's the thing, right? It's not about him disrupting locker rooms. It's about, is Durant going to be able to get along with Tibbs? We know who Tibbs is, man. He's old school. You got to have a certain type of guy that's going to be able to deal with Tibbs and who Tibbs is. You know who spoke about it? I said it on my show maybe about a couple weeks ago. You know who explained it better, Pulsar? Was man, I got the guy's name in my head. My LV's. It's late, man, on a Sunday night, man. I'm sorry, man. Austin Rivers. Here we go. Austin Rivers explained it best. He said, listen, man, he said, I played with Tibbs. He said, and someone on the show mentioned, it was on like First Take or something like that, on a morning show or whatever. He said, they said, yo, what about Durant? He said, no. He said, no way. He said, no way. He said, him and Tibbs are not going to click, man. He said, he's going to come in there. People aren't going to be wanting to sit down and do film study. Nothing. Tibbs is going to have an issue with that. They're going to butt heads. And you do not need that with Tibbs. This team is built in Tibbs' image, man. Image. Think of every guy that's here right now. These are all Tibbs guys. Even Randall. He's turned Randall into a 3-time All-Star, man. 2-time All-NBA. Look what he's done with Brunson's career. Look what he turned Josh Hart into. Look what he turned Hart into. Look at Deuce. These are all Tibbs guys, man. This is all him. This is all his blueprint. That's why Cam Reddish didn't work out. And we was all complaining we wanted Cam Reddish to play. But from what my reports that were coming out is that he never wanted Cam Reddish. He never wanted him. So that's why it wasn't going to work. So you just got to understand that whoever comes in here, it has to work with Tibbs. Just Nick says no to Durant. Paul said, "Oh yeah, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Can't even say it's late, man. I appreciate you subscribing to the channel, my man. I truly do. Thanks for coming through and rocking with me and my crew, man. It's truly appreciate it." Jeremy Simmons says the Knicks would have to take on Ben Simmons' expiring contract, 40.3, in order to obtain Bridges 2 years, 49 million. OG and Bogey first round draft capital would be included. No, I'm not moving OG and ANUNOBY, man. There's no way I'm moving him. No way. Coach says 26 in the chat. Get those likes up. Appreciate you, Coach. Appreciate that love, man. Appreciate everybody coming through rock with LV Live tonight. But listen, look, it's 9 o'clock. I know everybody got to go to work tomorrow, including LV. I'll be back to talk about this draft. And if anything pops off with the next LV Live, we'll be first to report. You know this. But listen, I appreciate everybody coming through, rocking with your boy LV Live tonight. Please hit that like, share, subscribe button. Hit that like button. Hit that like button, people. Right? Also, too, appreciate everybody coming through. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. Also, too, if you're watching this on replay, please leave comments. And also, too, once again, please subscribe. Appreciate everybody coming through, rocking with LV Live on this Sunday night. I'll see you guys on draft night. And let's get it shaking, man, with the Knicks, man. Let's go. All right, I'm LV Live, and that's my show, and I'm out of here, people. Peace.